we made a attack on the government because they were attacking us, and we made an attack on the government, and the rest is history.
Because the people who have them in gangs is telling them this is Islam.
Right.
So you coming to tell them the gang thing is not Islam. Chopping is he talking about? Them not real boy, them not living in the streets. But how we gonna and what? And you're dead.
Straight from the West Indies, come follow me, we step up on them, yes, we step up on them. Tell the enemies that we not beg no friend.
Well, this is the auditorium, and then we have the masjid inside here. We're doing some renovations. This is the Woodoo area, as you can see. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. In 1990, we made a attack on the government because they were attacking us, and we made an attack on the government, and the rest is history. We had a justice campaign going on where we were attacking all the drug lords, right? The drug lords, and the drug lords are heavily invested by the money people in the society, because drugs can be run by poor people. It's heavy people, and then it's protected by the politicians and the coercive forces of the government, which is the police, army, whatever else that you have, right? So they actually, as a matter of fact, the commissioner of police at the time, Randall Burrows, he was implicated in a thing called the Scott Drug Report as one of the major people involved in drug running in the country. They had politicians, like who was the Minister of Justice and National Security, a man called Selwyn Richardson, who they used to call Mr. Clean, Squeaky Clean, and his name was involved in that too, in the drug report. Right? So his name was attached to all these people who were attached to that whole drugs, and we were cleaning up we were cleaning up the ghettos from the drugs. So obviously we run into them.
Right.
And of course, they have the coercive, they control the coercive arm of the state. And so there was that. We had a lot of people, they used to come and run inside here often, so they come in to look for arms and ammunition and etc. And they would have found sometimes they would have found, a lot of times they wouldn't have found anything. But it was like that. It was very, very, very acrimonious between us and them. And so at one time they invaded here and they decided they were going to take over here. And we decided we wouldn't have anything to do, anything of it, and we did what we had to do.
Do you feel that somehow your approach has changed in any regards, or because you're telling me you've lost numbers?
Yeah. Well,
you've been prevented from doing that.
No preventing. No. This, if it's one thing I can say about this society here, this is a kind of laissez-faire society. You do what you want to do. You want to do what you want to do. Just don't come and interfere with the status quo. But they had taken over here. They used to live inside here. We couldn't come back inside here. The state, army and police, they had taken over here after 1990, and they had taken over for about a year, right? And then they realized that it didn't make sense. It makes no sense. They don't have to have control of here, and they gave it up, and we came back in, right?
So now you have a school here.
We have a school here, which we'll go to. If you go to there.
Primary school or middle school?
No, we had a middle school. Funding, we couldn't continue it, and so we dropped that. But we have early childhood, then we have primary, up to age 11, 12, 13, that's it. And then after you go off to the schools in the society.
What's the program like? They teach Arabic and things like this?
Very little. Now, we are now trying to do so and establish actually an Islamic curriculum. The idea for now, up to now, is that we are going to have an Islamic environment for children, but not an Islamic program for children.
Okay.
Right? They will learn Islam in their community, in the community that they are in, as well as in their family. So here, it is the Islamic environment that we have.
Right.
The past Imam had kind of initiated that because he didn't want to repeat the bad boy era.
This is something a bit difficult to understand from someone who doesn't live in Trinidad.
Go ahead.
How come there's this bad boy element within a Muslim group?
Almost every Muslim organization, you will find elements of that because they come from the
They come from the ghetto.
no, they come from the society that the people and them live in.
Yeah.
And most of the communities are not affluent, posh communities. They are ordinary communities. That is what is the situation. You have a situation where the people who normally flock to Islam
Yeah.
in any way will always be the underprivileged. That is the nature of it. And so that is what has happened. So the deviants come from the ghetto
Yeah.
and they come underprivileged. They are criminals in the first place. So they become Muslim criminals in a lot of cases unless they receive Islamic. Islam has to come and break them and form them over.
Right.
And many of them come into Islam and maintain the same kind of practices. They're still in the drugs, they're still womanizing, they're still doing this, that, all the different things. And only few of them have got a chance to actually sit down and let Islam really reform his or her life. And that is one of the biggest problems that we have had. We have had a lot of people who came, the Prophet people upon him, as reported have said, the leaders in Coup will be leaders in Islam if they acquire what? Ilmuddin. You have to acquire the Ilmuddin if you are a leader. Because we had a lot of leaders, leading men here from in the ghettos who were part of gangs. And when they came, nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, they were taken up by certain people in the community, and they were not told that, well, okay, you have to reform your entire life. So they were left to kind of find their own way. And I said them found the way that they know. Well, I go back to and sell my little drugs and this kind of thing because I had to live. They say I had to eat. And that is part of the movement that took place. So there was no grounding for a lot of them in Islam. So they came with their entire group, maybe 30, 40 people. But, alas, maybe one or two remain. But the majority of them slipped away. And that what has been happening. Come now, Abdul Majid. This is a spoken word man, Right? This is Adi, this is my son, Abdul Majid, Abdul Karim.
What message would you have for the Muslim youth who are still involved in, the bandman mentality and things like this?
For young people who in it already, and very quickly, they made to realize the reality of it is imprisonment. Not as in is jail, as in you'll get locked up in jail, but if you go and you ask anywhere in any urban hot area, they can't leave. They cannot leave.
Right.
They have to, it's not just living up there, but they don't leave. If they're living on the hill, they don't leave. And they're not a boss, so they don't have a car to pick them up to carry them nowhere. They don't leave. It's jail.
So they're trapped.
They are trapped.
They're trapped.
And not just they are trapped, they have trapped themselves. Because they know that in engaging in this lifestyle, it means that other people know I'm in this. So enemies or people like myself who trying to make a rap for themselves, they're going to be looking out for me because I make myself known. My debut into it was something big and I beat down the place. I rob this one. I take this one from that one. I walking under this one and that one. So they can't leave.
But what attracts some of these youths to Islam so much, though? We see some of them youths who are involved in certain things. It's a bit hard to understand why is the Muslim identity they put at the front. Some of them really, really put this identity up front. That's what they are. They're Muslims, yet they're involved in those things. Why is it that in Trinidad we have some youth that, despite the fact that they're involved in those things,
Not just despite it, especially that.
especially they put this up front? Where is
That
this
is because
coming from?
the image or the representation of Islam in Trinidad have to do with a lot of militancy, a lot of seriousness and standing up against justice, and sometimes that does involve violence. What these people who call themselves Muslims do is they take advantage of that of that image is mostly African people in Trinidad, and is mostly African people who involved in these gangs. And African people within them is a nature of revolution and rebellion. So because Islam, and we have to give Islam its jacket, because Islam is that, to reject everything else, to stand up, to fight for your rights and them kind of thing. They package this gangsterism into that. What we doing here is we fighting in the cause of Allah, and we fighting for, you know, we are fighting for we brothers and sisters. Anybody hearing that kind of philosophy is that like, yeah, I want to get down with that. I want to stand up. I want to be the people who active, who on the forefront, who, you know, motivating change and that kind of thing. That is the package being sold. That Islam, when you join this gang here, and it's not you're joining this gang, come into the brotherhood, that fighting for a particular cause. Don't mind his Muslims we killing, but them is not really Muslims. Them is like, don't worry. You see, he praying, don't worry. He ain't not really a Muslim. He praying, but he not really a Muslim. Just say, yeah, he good. He blood halal.
So there's misguidance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then it have people calling others to the truth. And because of that, that is you're taking away the clientele, you're taking away the strength. So now, the people who selling that package become violent towards the Muslim. And they misguide the youth into thinking, yes, you could kill that Muslim. Yes, you could kill that Muslim. Because he not siding with we. And what we establish, that we upon hack and we establishing the righteousness. So we have to stamp it, we have to reject everything else. So that being sold to young, vibrant, energetic youth is a steal of a deal. Because they gain money with it too. And then when they get involved in it, and slowly and surely they just seep in the true purpose. Drugs, blocks, money, girls, weapon, you name it, just normal thing. Territory, anything. The whole idea of this is an Islamic thing just go out the window. Just go out the window. On the outside looking in, yeah, we's Muslim city, we's 9, we's 7, them kind of thing. That is just to brandish it, to polish it off as, yeah boy, militancy. And you see everybody in the, well, guilty, in the cargo pants and the camo and the kind of thing, and you know, and the done in this whole militant, yeah, security flick about Islam, you know. And there's Islam,
but there's no taqwa.
There's no taqwa. And it is not.
There's no learning.
Yeah, it is not for the pleasure of Allah. It is not striving for the pleasure of Allah.
So, but do you see a solution to this? You as a youth yourself, and
definitely education. Yeah. Education of the deen, ilmud deen, knowledge of the deen. Because truth will always stand out clear from the falsehood. More influential people and more effort towards going and give dawah to young people, calling people to dawah and this kind of thing. When these young people start to learn the religion properly. Because what was sold to them initially is this is Islam. And this militancy, this criminality is part of Islam. Right. This is a right thing. This is the totality. This is it. This is Islam. This is what it means to be Muslim. Hooligan, spark it. Guard your territory. Stand up. Fight for your brethren. Fight for your Muslim brothers. Right. That is the totality of Islam. And this is what attract them.
Yeah.
This is what it just so happened that it also involves guns, drugs, and that kind of thing. So they just, well, all right, there's Islam, so there's for our cause. We selling the drugs so we can get the money to buy more guns, to go and strike, to go and fight. This for Islam. But if liberating them with the truth, with the proper knowledge and practice of the religion, when the attraction to the gang warfare was Islam, I think that will override the existing catch for them, you know.
Right.
Does that mean there's going to be a special program to deal with it, or is that just in the normal living?
No, it should not be everybody every day. There should be a foundation for that. But of course, I expect a lot of resistance, so it probably shouldn't sell itself as, yeah, we want to liberate youths from gangs with knowledge of the religion.
Target then.
Yeah, because people just wouldn't, okay, yeah, next time put down the gun initiative. Yeah, okay. Put down my gun and get killed. No problem.
Yeah, right.
No problem.
So
yeah,
them really trapped, really.
yeah, you can't really just come out and say, you know, put down all your guns, stop saying the drunk. How? If I put down my gun, the next man I want to kill me, go and kill me. So that is not the target. Yeah, that is not the bullseye. You invade eventually you want people to abandon that lifestyle, yes. But you ain't starting with, all right, no alcohol at all. Don't come to the prayer with the alcohol. You dig?
Right.
You know? In that same, the same steps of the wisdom of Allah, you know. Just come to learn the religion better. They come to learn this. Well, anyway, you're supposed to consume drugs, you know. Well, anyway, you're supposed to sell it neither, you know. Anyway, you're supposed to use the money from it neither, you know. Anyway, you're supposed to rob people, you know. Anyway, you're supposed to take people's money, you know. Anyway, you're supposed to kidnap people. Then you come down to, anyway, you're supposed to be murdering people just so unjustly. And bit by bit, you're rehabilitating the ideology. It can't be marketed as, you know, give up the gang thing, that's not Islam, give up that. No, neither. Because the people who have them in gangs is telling them this is Islam.
Right.
So you coming to tell them the gang thing is not Islam. Stupidness he talking about. Them not real boy, them not living in the streets. When shots flying out against we, put on we gun and what? And you're dead. I know Islam, you have to stand up for oppression, you have to protect your life. So you can't come and say brandishly and self-righteously, put down the gun, that's not Islam. You just have to come. This is how it is make your Woodoo, brother. Because most of them don't pray or don't know how to pray. Most of them just smoke weed and come to the prayer. Well, 40 days they pray and answer for, and that 40 just recycling every day. That 40 days is a whole through the year. You have all your prayer unanswered. 40 days because it's wake and bake. It's as you wake up, you bake it. So you know, that is the inlet. Come and learn how to make your Woodoo properly. Come and learn how to make ghusl. You know, fasting is this. The proper the proper etiquette of prayer is this. And they for them, you ain't telling them you can't come to the don't smoke weed and come to pray. You just giving them the truth. This is the truth. This is the hack. And they for themselves have to rehabilitate their mentality. Well, can't really pray for smoking weed, you know. But that is give me my meds. I feel I just meditate better than that, boy. You know, I just hold my meds in the night. You didn't really create yourself, you know, so you can really make the rules for yourself. What's the best way to worship God? You can invent that for yourself, you know. So I think that is a solution, not the solution, and Allah knows best. You know, just call them to the truth. Not rejecting their reality or rejecting their way of life, not chastising it openly or brandishing them as wrong, misguided, ghetto youths.
Right.
You will get resistance. Because it wouldn't be the first people that are doing it. It's decades now. Before I was born and all people saying put down the guns. And then what?
Yeah.
Die? And then what? What do you have in exchange for this lifestyle that is successful for me? Bismillah. This is my religion, Islam. It stands for the submission of one's will to Allah. It dictates that there is no deity worthy of worship but Al-Khaliq, the Creator, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger, which makes me a Muslim. And anything after that is an alternate identity indoctrinated by the media. Islam is the white lamb of society. It is the sacrifice for all the sins of all the isms and anities. Isn't it easy to unite when you isolate an individual entity into an evil light? Like Muslims want all of many things. To marry your 9-year-old daughters, slaughter your sons, sit on wells of wealth and watch the whole world burn. Unjust invasion, decapitation, imprisonment, and many other instruments of evil. So we must naturally liberate these people. Any ideas? Any takers? Invasion in any country with a high Muslim population. Euthanasia, yes. Kill them at the core in Kashmir and Syria, Indonesia, Burma. Desecration, destroy the masajid in Egypt and Palestine. Violation, rape them, take them, like the way you take out a cavity, keep them coming concentration camps. Yes, China, that's the one. Erase any semblance of that religion. But remember, this is not terrorism. This is to ensure democracy and secure world peace as long as we wipe out this common enemy. And the whole world applauds. The whole world agree that there is no place in this world for me. So I would rather be in the hereafter than be here after the aftermath of anarchy starts to add up. To ask me to stand up or reach my hand and my chest to preach no pledge because I know no definition of the people. More like a desecration of the free will, a defecation on the free will, a demonstration of the evil spirit. Kill it, split it open. Fill it, till it, spill it, till it, run it over. Like an open wound that does not clot, it does not close up. You don't need a closer look to see we have not stopped bleeding. They have not stopped receding the evil, deceiving the people into believing we are demons in need of redeeming. So don't ask me. Don't ask me if the two could exist in the same place. My love and my hate. My love is meaningless if I don't hate. And I hate it so much I could feel it in my bones. Like a string tugging on the knuckle of my voting finger to coil around the cold metal carrier of a 38.38-inch caliber. Feel the kickback when the head kickback. Say to myself, shh, that mercy, shh. Picture Hitler and squeeze. The picture goes pitch black. Don't ask me to pray. Because the preachers of peace will say, go back to your prayer, man. Back to the prayer mat, back to the prayer mat and pray. Ishaq, back to the prayer mat. Tawheed, back to the prayer mat. Julaibe, back to the prayer mat. Ismail, back to the prayer mat. Asiya, back to the prayer mat. I can't forgive. 6 were 4 and 5. 7 were 3 feet and the rest is about 8 feet under me. How to turn to God, they ask. When in the skies is missiles like flies hovering above fresh meat. How to pray for peace when pieces of the limbs scattered in the street. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, they cry. A simple call to Tawheed. They lie. They say it is a call to arms, then where are they? In the streets, scattered, that is a peace. In pieces. Yeah, that's it.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.
Straight from the West Indies, come follow me, we step up on them, yes, we step up on them. Tell the enemies that we not beg no friend.